What's up, guys?
I may not know exactly what's an abstraction, or how's an abstraction, or where's an abstraction, or why's an abstraction, but I do know tiny tidbits of information about them.
At least enough for me to make some decent headcanons. Yeah, this video is mostly headcanon, but I've thought long and hard about it, so they're like even more canon than canon. Let's start by asking a simple question. What is an abstraction? An abstraction is a black, polygonal, quadrupedal, horse-looking thingy with eyes all over them. Their polygons erratically shift around, like they're actively glitching. All of them are extremely aggressive and will attack anyone they see. Anything they touch will start to jumble, just like they do. It's as if they're permanently stricken with digital glitchy virus germs. The reason for that though is because of the nature of their forms. So in video games, programmers will typically have placeholders. In the event of a missing, let's say, model or texture, the placeholder will take their place so that the game doesn't crash. Have you ever played Gary's mod? In that game, the placeholders are this big red error model and this pink checkered eye-sharing texture. In The Amazing Digital Circus, Big Horsey here is the resident fallback avatar. But it's not as if someone deliberately made placeholders, which is why the rules for them work in kind of a gray area. Why does our friend here have polygon cooties though?
Bite me!
Here's what I'm thinking. It's easier to visualize this with math variables. Imagine that Kaufmo is X, an unidentified number. And let's imagine Her Majesty over here as 19. When Kaufmo throws straight hands on our polka dot pal, you can view that exchange as something like X times 19. X is an unidentifiable number, so rather than the value becoming a new number, it just becomes 19x, because you're not really sure what to do with it. This is basically what the system is going through when an abstraction touches anything that's not itself. The circus isn't really sure what to do with the information, so the abstractions just end up leaving a mark on everything. When Kaufmo touches Ragatha, Ragatha just becomes Ragatha X, and then when Pomni touches Ragatha, her hand just becomes Pomni Hand X. Caine is able to fix both of them by resetting their forms to just Ragatha and just Pomni, which he's able to do because their minds are still intact. The only thing Caine can't fix is their minds, which aren't located physically on them. Caine can't reset the abstraction's forms because the mind is what makes them look like that. From here on out, I'm gonna use information from episode 9, so if you haven't finished TADC, spoilers ahead. Please go watch it and come back. Why does abstraction happen? Since we know that the humans in the circus are just mind files stored on a computer, we can assume it's something to do with data reading. In episode 8, Caine is talking to Bubble about how he made a program that can perfectly encapsulate their mind files. This program supposedly reads their mind files and gives them their forms based on that. So what I believe is that if that program is for whatever reason unable to properly read a person's mind file and give them their form, it gives them the fallback avatar. That's why everyone who abstracts becomes the same thing. A lot of people think that abstraction is just a straight up metaphor for death and waterslide. I mean, yeah, it is, but at the end of the day, these characters are in a fictional world turning into fictional horses. Abstraction is a fictional condition where you get so distressed your mind files become unreadable, with its own rules separate from real-world mental health conditions. And you're gonna get confused if you ignore that textual fact. Also, I know what it looks like, but I'm not getting my headcanons from Reddit, okay? It was just specifically the metaphors that were frying me, and I cheated just a teensy tiny bit. To reiterate, abstraction happens whenever your mind file becomes unreadable. which so far we know 2 ways that can happen. Number 1, your mental state becomes a mess. And number 2, when something tampers with your mind files directly and straight up kills you. Caine absolutely accidentally murdered Scratch. Just in case you don't remember, in episode 7, when Caine is revealing that the entire journey to his office was an adventure, he gets caught in his lie about how he can actually change data in people's minds. When Scratch is mentioned shortly after, he nervously deflects it and mentions how he's just here to have fun. Just so you know, Caine isn't malicious. In fact, he likes humans. Anyhow, basically, Caine tried to alter Scratch's mind, made a mistake somewhere, and that ended up with Scratch abstracting. But hey, don't be so harsh on him, okay? All your favorite characters have murdered people in this show. It's an honest mistake. Pomni killed Gummy Goo.
Wait, what?
Kinger killed the Angel. And Jax. Jax killed 2 people, and they were her closest friends, so if you like her, then you can't be mad at Caine. What do you mean some people hate Jax? How are abstractions doing? You okay in there, dudes? The people who abstracted are still alive in there. Conscious, just not in a proper state of mind. When they're surrounded by darkness, they become calm, stable, both internally and externally, as their glitchy polygons become smooth. Why is that though? In the pilot, we actually get to see from an abstraction's point of view. We look through Kaufmo's eyes, and it's all bright and blurry. Their eyes are sensitive to light. So imagine having like 50 eyes and all of them being barraged by the vibrant colors in the circus. It makes sense that they can't think straight. Also, I think that the jumbliness is actually directly affected by their mood. Chaotic when they're stressed and smooth when they're calm. We know that when people are jumbling, it's painful. So it would make sense that the abstractions are also feeling that same pain, all over their body. It's just a feedback loop of pain and emotions. When people become abstractions, their minds are already in a horrible place, and they get put into a body where their vision is blurred, eyes are burning, and everything hurts. Of course they'd get all aggressive and flail around. I know this is a bit of a jump, but since we know all that, now we can start talking about whether abstraction is actually reversible. I'm gonna start off by saying it's most definitely not reversible. Or what I mean is that it shouldn't happen, because it wouldn't really work thematically. Abstraction is metaphorically death, so unabstracting an abstraction is a plot point that only has a place in like the after story. There's no point in killing off a character just to bring them back right away.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah!
Storytelling aside, hypothetically, since there's still a conscious within the abstracted, there's still someone to save, hypothetically. Their mind file would have to somehow become readable again. Not sure how they would go about that, and I wonder if therapy would actually help. In any case, yes, I think abstraction is totally reversible. It's just that the path to that outcome is entirely unknown and probably convoluted. Alright though. This whole video, I've been trying to cover all the reporters' questions, like the what, where, when, how thing. I mean, I've got 3 of them, I suppose, but I don't really have big sections for the rest, so. But I'll still do the last few. I might as well. Where are the abstracted? Aquarium. Who are the abstracted? Alright, so you got Scratch, you got Wormo, the worm, Bisco, Ratty, Bike, Queenie, Ribbit, Kaufmo, Jax, and everyone else. You got these guys. I feel like these guys aren't even canon. What I think is that, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure these guys are just like, they're just like a placeholder thing. Because in the pilot, when Ragatha is showing Pomni around, they show all of these like important ones that are actually canon. And for the rest of them, like this yellow dude, they're shown in like the background, just as an off thing, if that makes sense. When are the abstractions? I don't know all the exact dates and stuff, and I'm not sure if they were all actually stated somewhere, but the main thing you need to know is that Scratch and the original group were scanned in 1999. Everyone except for Kinger abstracted before 2008, because that's when Ragatha joined the circus, and the rest of the abstractions take place after that point in time. Thumbs up emoji. Thank you very much for watching till the end. I know this is kinda late, and I don't know if what I've said in the video has already been said a million times before, but for my own sanity, I'm gonna refuse to acknowledge that. Anyhow, thank you. Subscribe if you wanna subscribe. Thanks.